Travis, who do you want to be a hero to?
Man, I thought this one for a long time. And honestly, just growing up, it's the brothers, it's the family.
Who do you want to be a hero to? It's a clarifying and simplifying question that gives you direction immediately in terms of who do you want to be and how do you want to be? Because when you ask the question, who do I want to be a hero to, it may sound a little bit selfish on the front end, but really what it does is it directs you outwards, right? Your actions and everything, who you are, it starts to become aligned with whoever it is, right? Your family, maybe your teammates, maybe your coach, right? Maybe your coach, you want to be a hero to your coach. Whoever it is you want to be a hero to, this question, who do I want to be a hero to, helps direct your actions.
Yeah, and really, I've had to reflect on this one, and if I went back to a high school version of me, intuitively, this is a question that I posed to myself that I didn't realize at the time that I was doing it, and it did guide the actions that I had through high school in terms of how I operated, how I handled myself, and the time that I spent on my free time, how it was spent. So I think it's something super helpful for you high school athletes as you're getting this, the college athletes as you're getting this, because I wish someone would have framed it this way so I understood it a little bit more back then.
Absolutely. And we all, every single person in the world wants to be a hero to somebody, whether you believe that you can be or not, whether you believe in yourself or not, that's a different story. But seeing as how we all do want to be a hero to somebody, there are 3 must-dos if you want to be a hero to your people, right? Whoever your people are, there's 3 things you must do. And the first is that you must be authentically you. It's a very important place to start, because if you come out of this thing trying to be a hero, trying to be a hero, right, in terms of like trying to be Superman to somebody and trying to be this, like, oh, if I'm going to be a hero to somebody, then I've got to go save somebody's life. I've got to put on the S on my shirt every day, and I've got to really step up and be the man. And no, like you need to be you. That's the most important place to start.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, authenticity reigns supreme. So athletes, parents, they're going to sniff out if you're being authentically you or if you're just trying to make something up and do it. So if you're an athlete, you have a heart to serve, an easy way to be a hero is stay within your strengths. We have athletes in here that they play at the high school, the club level, and then they're going back and they're coaching those 5th, 4th grade athletes. And I'll tell you, I've got to see it on both ends where I'm coaching the older athlete and how fulfilled they feel and how great it makes them feel. And on the flip side, that athlete doesn't realize how much of those younger athletes idolize them for just being authentically them and coming down and passing down the things that they learned. But when we're the older athlete, a lot of times we don't think we're edified to coach the younger athlete. And I'm telling you, I've seen it. Those athletes idolize, and they are being heroes for those younger athletes.
That made me think of a quote: God doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the called. So if you've been called to help somebody or to serve somebody or to be a hero, that actually stems into must-do number 2, which is once you are fully yourself, which sounds much easier said than done, right? Like we all know we struggle with that. Once you've figured that part out, then out of that flows your unique strengths. Because you don't need to be somebody else, or you don't need to have somebody else's strengths in order to be a hero to somebody. And what I mean by that is, let's just take the simple example of a leader on a sports field. You don't have to be the vocal, in-your-face, motivational, always have the right thing to say type leader. You don't have to be that in order to be a hero to somebody. If your strength is lead by example, or maybe you're a really good listener, or maybe you're the kind of person that always is just like you get there early at practice, you stay late, you're always there to lend a helping hand. That might be your strength. That might be authentically you. And I'll tell you this much, you will be a hero to a lot of people and to your team if you stay in your strength zones. If you're a 3-point shooter, you can be a hero to your team by just staying in your strength zone. You don't have to be LeBron James who could take over a game. You can just be you and use your gifts.
Yeah, and this one, it makes me think of the Steve Kerr Last Dance example. Steve Kerr was not Michael Jordan, but there was big games that Steve Kerr hit the big shot to make that team move on. So he knew his spot, he knew his role. He wasn't being selfish with the ball. He wasn't taking uncharacteristic shots. He played to his strength, and it made him a hero in the games that he was called upon to put that skill forth.
I love it. So reflect yourself on what is it that you're really good at. We always say take your strengths to supernova and get your weaknesses up to an acceptable baseline. But if you spend way too much time on your weaknesses all day long, you're actually less likely to be a hero to those around you. So find what it is that you're innately great at and double down on that, and you will be a hero to everyone around you, your kids, your teammates, so on and so forth.
With my younger athletes, the first things that are always going to pop into your brain is your physical attributes. I'm fast, I'm strong, this, that, and another. Think about the mental capacity as well, because you're going to have mental gifts that's going to allow you to be maybe a leader. Maybe I lead by example. Maybe I'm a little more galvanizing. I can inspire people around me to come with me. Maybe that's not me. I'm a little more shy. I'm introverted. I got to lead with my actions and make sure I double down on how I perform things to lead people that way. So mental and physical strengths.
That's spot on. Yep. And then number three, if you want to be a hero to anyone around you, you have to start with seeing them for the unlimited potential that they truly have. If you're somebody that tends to see people's limitations, or you tend to see other people's weaknesses or where they fall short, it's going to be really hard for you to show up and be a hero for them. So one of the things we're encouraging this week and beyond is see people for their unlimited potential, and don't use your own experiences and don't let your own limitations determine what you can see in another person, because they may have very unique strengths, gifts, so on and so forth.
I got two with this one. Older athletes, if you're a junior, senior on a team, don't underestimate the amount of your power of your words with the younger athletes on your team. As a senior, I remember going to the weight room, and those older guys really took me under their wing and helped me. I was small, I was slow, and they helped kind of shape me into growing in the weight room and using it as a tool because they saw my work ethic. Coaches, I'm going to shout out one guy in particular that I've been talking to and connecting with over at Hall Performance. Shannon has taken these linemen that a lot of people have passed on.
Shannon Breen, yeah.
Shannon Breen, and I've talked to him, and I see these guys now. They got scholarships going in. And 2-3 years ago, people passed on these linemen that he put time into, and really I think the physical things that he gave them was a huge asset. Don't get me wrong, but I think the power of just having a coach genuinely look you in the eye and say, "I believe you can take the next step with the work." And he's done that, and he's seen some athletes reap the benefits. So just athletes and coaches understand the power of your words. And athletes, you don't need to be monumentally ahead of people. If you're just older, that those younger kids are going to look up to you, and the power of your words to get that kid maybe to change its trajectory in the weight room or work habits, it's there.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, with number three, it's so true that number three, just believing in others' unlimited potential, and like Travis said, using your words to unleash that potential by looking at them and telling them you believe in them and they've got giftedness and pointing out their strengths, that by itself could really, I mean, that could make you be a hero for somebody, right? You could change their life by doing that. But I think that we would be remiss to ignore the fact that this is actually kind of going against our human nature. Our human nature is to spot flaws. And if you're a parent, I'm with you. Like it's sometimes challenging to always see the strengths or the things your kid does well or the potential they have. And it's much easier to point out their weaknesses or where you think they might fall short. And so be really, really careful about this. You have to be incredibly intentional every day to make sure you don't shoot somebody down, and rather you lift them up by pointing out their unlimited potential. We'll say it one more time. Unlimited potential, unlimited potential. It's
a tough one.
It's a mouthful. And speaking belief into them.
Yeah, and again, it's just the power of belief. And we live in a society that's very quick to say, well, you can't do that. You're not able to do this. You don't fit the parameters. You don't fit the stereotypical size that we look for. And there's outliers that we see all the time playing at the next level where a lot of us aspire to be. But over time, too many times we have coaches or parents that say something that gets us to believe it, and we settle with mediocrity instead of pursuing that higher calling that we once had. So make sure you keep pursuing it. Parents, coaches, older athletes, support these young ones. Don't put them down. Pick them up with your words. See their unlimited potential. I had to say it one more time.
There's some lights that just went off in here.
I know. Motion sensor. We've been talking a long time.
Hey, so going back to the beginning, who do you want to be a hero to? Think about that question. How do you need to show up for that person in order to be that hero? And then ultimately, the 3 must-dos: be authentically you, tap into your strengths and unique abilities, and number 3, believe in the other's unlimited potential, and you'll be on your way.
Yeah, I mean, you can spark a lot of change right now, and the world needs people to be out there being heroes. We're not talking about Batman, Superman, Iron Man. Don't go doing crazy stuff, but be the hero for people around you, because this world that we live in, especially post-COVID, we're seeing the fallout.
That's true.
We have the event coming up in 2 days for mental health. There's a lag effect on what people went through COVID, so we need heroes now more than ever. So this is time for you to step up, and if you're in a position where you can enact change, this is the time to do it.
Rise up, baby. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.